7:30 and we are on our way. Our campsite was like right near the entrance for Yosemite National Park, so we are heading into the park, which will take 45 minutes to an hour.
It's a big park.
It's a real big park. And my hair's a mess, and it's bright sunlight through the trees, but it is a beautiful morning. And
how do you feel sleeping tonight or last night went?
Oh, last night was so much better than the first night. It was warmer, although I think we'll like use the sleeping bag as a blanket again tonight.
I mean, there's a little bit of a learning curve about like where to put what, where, when, and just like, you know, moving things around as you get settled. But I think we're getting the hang of this thing.
Yeah. So night number 2 in the suboverland was a success, and today we're going to do some hiking and check out this awesome national park.
Yeah.
Sticker number 2.
Yep.
What are we doing?
We're on the trail. Walking.
What's this trail called?
Happy Trail. The Happy Island Trail. But we all know it's really a happy trail.
Those kids were having stick races in the river back there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. How you holding up?
Oh, fine.
Good. Yep. Big, tall waterfall. It was worth the hike.
Yeah, so worth it. So this is super goofy, but I bought these live straw water bottles where essentially like you fill up anywhere and then the live straw filters it out. And I really wanted to taste what fresh Yosemite water.
Have you ever used it before?
I've never used it before. This is kind of why I wanted to do it.
All right, here we go.
Tastes like water. Like clean water though.
No surprise. Yeah, it's got an after flavor of rock. No surprise again.
So we are still at Yosemite and we decided to, oh, my eyes watering. We decided to stay a third night tonight instead of going down to Sequoia National Forest, partially because of the forest fires up here, and partially just because we didn't really feel like going 4 hours out of the way to go down there.
The forest fires are blocking the road to the other sequoias, but they got some here.
Yeah, so they got some sequoias here. So we are taking a short little hike down to the Merced Grove.
So I'm told there might be an Ewok village somewhere down here, and if so, I'm hoping to be their next C3PO. So as we were getting back from the Sequoia Grove that we were at earlier this morning, stopped in to use the restroom and noticed a sign that said, "Beware of squirrels, they carry the plague." The plague? I thought the plague was completely eradicated. So anyway, I mean, maybe it's all the rodents. So I went to the Wilderness Center here, and I was like, I have kind of a stupid question, but I saw a sign saying the squirrels carry the plague. And they looked at me dead serious and they're like, yes, they do. Do not touch them. And they handed me this pamphlet. I'll show you guys in a sec. But apparently, rural rodents in California, except for the Southwest desert, carry the plague. And yeah, it can be really bad. But the good thing is, apparently, it's very treatable now. If you catch it within a day or two, there's antibiotics they could give you. But there's some other diseases that are potentially worse that come from rat poop and things like that. Oh, mouse poop too. Either way, I'm just gonna avoid all rodents. So to be fair, apparently it's really rare for somebody to catch the plague. You gotta be around kind of a dead one that was infected. And here in Yosemite, it sounds like just one kid has been infected with it over the past 2 years, so it's not all that common. And for the urban regions, there's not been one reported case in California in over 100 years, so pretty well contained. Thank you, modern medicine. So I should say the kid lived, so yay. So I just noticed a lot of smoke, and also I could barely see the mountain behind me. So the fires that Norelle was talking about yesterday, the winds must have shifted directions, because now I can see that the sun has gone red. So that's what happens in Seattle when the smoke from the wildfires gets blown downtown. So now it's cooler, but here's hoping the fire doesn't spread this way. Also, that deer is back. The smoke is so bad that you could barely see the mountains. This is Half Dome right there, and it's just almost disappearing into the smoke. So we're both trying to get about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of work in each day, just to make sure things are moving along. So since we're only rocking one computer because our second backup computer, the charger seems to be broken, we're taking turns doing work, so decided to take a little walk. So apparently these meadows are all wetlands, and when settlers came and people started visiting, they built an asphalt path right here, and that disrupted the flow of the water, and it ended up drying out the land and caused trees to start encroaching. So they replaced it with these boardwalks so the water can flow, and now we're back to natural wetlands. Nice. So just a fun fact, the ferns that are in the meadows right here, they are actually used by Native Americans to make baskets. And I was just in their museum, and I was talking to a girl making bracelets, and she was telling me about the patterns and the way that they do it. And I guessed right on 2 of the patterns. I was like, well, if I was to guess what these patterns mean, this would be a tree here and this would be fire. And she's like, wow, that's totally right. And I was just guessing. So I just spoke to somebody in the Wilderness Center asking if the wind just shifted or if the fire spread. And I guess it did spread from 5,000 acres to 12,000 acres over the course of a day. But as of yet, it's still in the same general area, so no more additional roads are out. Just overheard a guy who was passing the other direction telling his wife that he had heard that currently it's only 10% contained. So we'll just cross our fingers and wait to see if they get this thing under control. So I guess this is thanks to us being tourists. Turns out that fires in Yosemite are totally natural, nothing to be afraid of. Just part of the natural ecosystem. And yes, there is a little bit of extra buildup that make them burn a little bit more than they ought to, but they still got to burn. So as long as it's somewhat contained, we're okay. You know what? I only know that because I finally picked up the freaking paper that they handed us when we came into the park and just started reading it. So maybe I should read more. So just quick update. Took Norelle back to the Indian village, but I don't know if you could tell this, but the ash is falling like snow now.
Yeah. It's really small pieces, but it's ash.
Now, the reason why I was kind of freaked out about it is because we only recently got forest fires like the ash and the smoke coming into Seattle 2 or 3 years ago. So it seemed abnormal, but apparently it's normal for Yosemite. Yeah, that's how the sequoias breed, is the fire opens up the pine cones. And they didn't have a new sequoia for 100 years because they were killing all the forest fires. So not sure if this shows up, but check out the ash on the windshield here, just raining down. So it looks like this is about as good a view as we're gonna get. Still a little foggy up there with all the smoke, but good enough for a selfie. So after that crow was hanging out in the car next door, I want to look up again what exactly the difference is between crows and ravens other than the physical features. Apparently socially, one of the key differences is that crows work and act socially, whereas ravens tend to be more functioning in pairs and like to live in the mountains as opposed to crows that like to live in the city. So it makes me wonder, is it possible that crows are just ravens that have evolved learning from and living with people? Update on this whole fire situation. I just read an article on the San Francisco Gate that was published this morning. Basically, it started out as a small brush fire somewhere along Highway 140, and the firefighters thought they had it contained to just 30 square acres, but apparently a spark jumped across the river and now it's a bit out of control. So the rangers that told me it wasn't that big of a deal apparently didn't exactly have all the information. According to the Gate, they said that it doubled again last night, and they're pretty worried about what's going to happen tonight. They're expecting 55-mile-an-hour winds going to the west. So that does make Yosemite safe for now, but it does put a lot of people's homes in danger, and the power companies are apparently proactively shutting down power selectively in 34 counties. So it's a little bit of a big deal.